How you doing, everybody, and welcome to Dicey Decisions, where we roll dice, spin stories, and play some... This week's Dicey Spotlight is a specific gentleman called Panzerlion, is his handle. He is the creator of the RPG Sojourner, which you can find on his Twitter, which is @POCGamer. He is very active online and in the community. He's always making great content, and he's always got something to say, and it's usually something very well thought out, something that's very funny. He's just definitely a cool guy and kind of graces my feed every now and again, which is always fun. You can find him at POCgamer.com, and he has a Patreon at patreon.com/POCgamer. He's a super cool guy. Go check him out. Once again, named Panzerlion. But with that all being said, please enjoy this episode of Dicey Decisions. So, last we left our story, you all went to, you went to speak to Artur. We found out that Helga is Bear.
Bear.
Actually, this time.
I am Bear.
But where is
Actually.
Bear?
Where
where is Bear? That's definitely what that episode's going to be called.
Good.
Where is Bear? Yeah, so you all, determined that, and then you made your way outside of the city limits to the ruins where Benneth Harpsong supposedly hides, committing heinous acts of, whatever he's doing with those bodies that he stole from the graveyard.
Yikes.
And the other stuff. So, we pick it back up with creepy music. There we go. The ruins of the old dwarven tower stand crumbling before you. The upper floors collapsed into the swamp, slowly swallowing the rest. A small path of broken wooden planks winds erratically through the tall reeds and grasses to where you can see a dark entrance gaping, waiting. What are you all doing?
Go in the entrance.
Finnan actually is going to take a look around the entrance just to make sure that there's not something unpleasant waiting for them.
From a distance or as you come up to it?
As I come up to it.
All right. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Shit.
That was
Wow.
loud.
Apologies to everyone in existence.
So funny.
That is a 17 total.
17 total? All right.
Correct.
Some long objects as you approach, kind of floating in the half swamp, half lake that surrounds this several acres of space. They're not plant life, you realize. Those are, in fact, the dorsal spines of what appears to be 3 Northland crocodiles.
Yikes.
Could I make a nature check to figure out if I know any behavioral things about crocodiles?
Go ahead.
Are these what we fought shortly before we started recording?
Running
You
a zigzag pattern. They don't have a good turning radius.
That is a 17 total.
17 total?
Correct.
You would know, having, growing up in the Northlands, you would know that, crocodiles, tend to lie in wait in grassy marshes and swamps, usually hiding amongst reeds and stuff using their natural camouflage of their dorsal spines as extra camouflage, and they will attack prey suddenly, as it usually comes to get a drink of water. But you've seen, you were able to see the kind of telltale pattern of the spines on their back, sticking out, almost like very, very long, extended, like, from the middle of their back, basically.
And so I look to the gang and I basically just stay as close to the middle of the path as he can.
All right. So you're going to try to sneak past the crocodiles?
Yes.
That means everyone's going to have to roll a stealth check.
Oh boy, whatever will I do about a stealth check?
Well,
Oh,
I
no,
mean, Katrina
whatever
has to
will I
roll with
do?
disadvantage.
Because I'm wearing armor.
Clinkety clankety.
You said you took it
Yeah,
off, but...
I would have put the cloak back on.
All right, yeah, you are still attuned to
no.
it.
I
Oh
rolled.
no.
Disadvantage or normal?
You just roll normally. Because
I rolled with advantage on, but my first roll was a 4.
that counts as we'll count that 4 then.
Should I
Hooray.
be using roll 20?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
No, they're just lazy.
Mine was a 20.
Yeah. Or if you ever feel like, cheating, you can always use the regular dice.
If it's an
Really?
important roll, I will usually make you take a picture.
That is a
Usually.
23.
Sweet.
Hey,
Mine was
look
a
at you.
20.
Gonna roll for both Oran and Gurg.
I'm just glad mine wasn't a nat 1. This is my first roll of the game, and I would have been real sad.
Yeah, that is a 13 plus 10 stealth.
Sweet. Let me see what their +2 stealth is. 5. Ooh. All right, so we had 2 fails and 3 successes. So you, as a group, do not disturb the water. Actually, Oran almost trips and falls, but Gurg just yoinks him up by the scruff of his shirt and places
Good.
him back on the planks. And so you all make your way to the darkened entrance, which, as you can see, it does go down. There's stairs going down deeper into darkness. Oddly enough, it's not filled with water, as you would expect, but there is a bit of a trickle of water going down the steps, making them a little slick, so you have to step carefully. Excuse me. But yeah,
All right.
the dungeon awaits.
Should we have some sort of marching order?
I march.
I was about to ask that.
I'll march. I can go first.
Okay, so we'll put Helga up first.
Mm-hmm.
Finnan will actually probably be right behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. So he's just going to be right behind.
Katrina, what are you doing?
The middle.
All right, Katrina, followed by Oran and then Gurg. All right. As you all move further down into the... perfect timing. As you all move further down into the dungeon, it is time for me to allow you some maps. Yeah, so you are all... As you come down the steps to a bit of a landing that turns right, you can see kind of a plus-shaped crossroads in front of you. The light plays off of a back wall of that plus shape, but to the right and left, it goes off into darkness, and you can just sort of see a door ahead of you.
I'm going to move towards the end, or towards the crossroads.
Okay.
I'm going to motion for Helga to hand me the torch.
I hand Finnan torch.
Okay.
And I'm going to stealthily peek around the corner.
Peeky poo.
You're gonna take the torch from Helga?
Yes.
Alright, so that means you now have the light. Which means you produce the light. Which means I have to change things.
Alright, guys, keep passing the torch around.
Fuse the DM so he can't kill us.
Yes. And I'm going to make my way up to the corner.
Left or right corner?
I'm going to go to the left first, since I'm already closest to that wall. I can kind of sidle along stealthily.
All right, so as you approach that, you do see that there is, in fact, a door ahead of you. To the right, the hallway stops and turns left again. Ahead of you, it seems to continue onward, and yeah, that's about it. Actually, go ahead and roll a perception check for me, why don't you, Finnan?
I can certainly do that for you.
Thank you, so kind of you.
That's a 7.
Ace.
That's a 7? All right.
That's a 7.
That's fine.
Okay, so I am going to do the same thing to the right corner.
All right, so you peek around to the right corner. Finnan. Let me see. 20. So, as you peek around to the right, you do just kind of see, that the path does curve off to your left. However, that is not what does interest you at the moment is the fact that suddenly you feel something press against you.
It's an ice cube.
I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh boy!
As you all see a strange cube-shaped bit of jello just
Say all of us?
ooze towards Finnan
Oh no!
and engulf him.
Of course, you had to put me against my favorite monster.
Get that thing.
So,
That thing back where it came from, or so help me!
so I rolled a total of 23.
All right, so whoopsies. Excuse you. There we go. So, as you so you succeeded, luckily.
Hooray.
You can choose to be pushed 5 feet back or to the side. Well, I will say that, since it kind of came at you, kind of slid forward and then towards you. By the way, this strange cube fills the entire hallway.
Gross.
It has somehow shaped itself to fit perfectly against the walls. And Finnan
Hey,
is
Mike.
pushed off of it. Yes?
Cut that shit out.
Nah. I need everyone to
Yes.
roll initiative.
Ooh.
Gelatinous cube.
All right, so 25 to 20.
Nope.
20 to 15.
Well.
Yep.
What you got?
17.
All right.
Set.
And Gurg and Oran got a
17.
16. All right. 15 to 10. Oh no. 10 to 5.
We got her. We got
7.
7. We both
Both-
got 7.
Oh jeez. Who has the higher dexterity score?
I have 1.
Well, no, wait. You're players. You both can decide between yourselves.
You go first.
Okay.
You can choose as the turn comes up.
Yeah, our dex is the same.
Yeah,
Oh.
you basically you move simultaneously, and all right, cool. So, first up, Finnan. This strange gelatinous mass just basically bounced into you, and you know just bounce off of it, and you're shoved off.
Yeah.
Boing.
It oozes at you threateningly.
Great.
Ew.
I've had breakfast and now I get dessert.
I don't recommend eating that.
It's part of the bit. It's gonna go with me on this one. So I am going to attack it with my rapier.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me.
So vivid and descriptive.
Well, I want to see how well I do first. That's a 9.
that actually hits.
Holy shit.
Hell
It
yeah.
is a giant cube.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. And I believe I also get some sort of fancy bonus because of my... Oh no.
It hasn't gone yet.
I also get an additional way to use my... So, I'm within 5 feet of it, correct?
You get your sneak attack.
Okay. So I will roll for damage with sneak attack. That is a D8. That's 3 plus 4, 7, plus my D6. Or my 2D6, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, attempting to find another D6. So it is a total of 7 damage with my rapier, plus 6 for the sneak attack.
So what's the total on that?
That is 13.
All right, 13 dabblage.
So
Yes.
I draw the rapier and wheel back and just drop into an immediate fencing stance and just take a nice, good stab at it.
As you stab it, it does pierce through, and you pull back, to, prepare yourself again, and a little just of whatever material it's made of just kind of schlucks out onto the floor and just kind of starts to evaporate a bit. Yeah, pretty gross. Next up is a person. Gurg and Oran. So, the way they work, the way I've decided to have them work is they are technically one character for ease of passage. So, Oran is going to call out to, let me see, it's going to, gonna call out to you, Finnan, Oran, and is going to say, let me see, what was he gonna say? Watch your feet, it's very slippery! And, you receive a D8 of Bardic Inspiration.
Ooh.
And that is a bonus action. They're also going to cast... They don't really have anything to cast. Yeah, as Oran does that, he also fires his crossbow at it. Sure, fuck it. That is a... Yeah, it's a 12. So that hits. Does... 7 points of piercing damage. The arrow actually the bolt, the crossbow bolt, goes into it, and it kind of jiggles a bit in response, but that's kind of it. Next up, Helga and Katrina. You both move at the same time. What do you do?
Hey, I think Katrina could go first, so go ahead.
I'm gonna see how magic does on it. I'm gonna firebolt the son of a gun.
All right. Roll a spell ranged attack.
That would be a 20.
Yes, it hits. Please go ahead and roll damage.
Peter's having a... that's 13 fire damage.
Hey,
Hot damn.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hot damn.
Yeah, the firecracker blasts out of your hand, Katrina, and actually not when it impacts the quivering mass before you, it seems to melt a spherical section of it that just falls off as almost just water. It just melts instantly, and a bit of its mass falls off. Nice, good stuff.
I'm gonna shout, fire heart set!
Good to know.
Helga, you're up.
my turn. I'm gonna chop it with the great axe. That's an 11 to hit.
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Damage.
Okay.
And I get 2 attacks. This is my other attack on the guy.
Yeah, if you want it to be, unless you want to hit Finnan for some reason.
Don't
wanna-
you dare.
I want to fucking kill him for no reason. Wow.
Is this about the tab?
Yes,
Gonna
it's
hit-
tab!
Oh my god. He has a tab against the... yeah, no, I'm hitting the thing. 10 to hit.
10 to hit? That that does hit. Go ahead.
And then it got 16 damage.
Nice.
I believe that's reduced damage, though, because if I remember correctly, the gelatinous things have reduced damage and slashing. Sadness.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so, is that it for your turn? Anything else you want to do?
I good.
Okay. It is now the cube's turn. It is going to... It has taken some serious damage in this just first turn. Y'all fucked it up. You did, like, I think a collective, like... I want to say, like, 50-something hit points to it in that first turn.
Yeah.
However, it oozes forward into you two, Finnan and Helga. I need both of you to make a dexterity saving throw.
This is a thing I am good at.
Why would you say that?
I think, Helga, you have advantage because of your danger sense.
Let me know when you need my number.
Yeah, go ahead. What you got?
25.
Jesus H. Christ. All right, you are, again, shoved backwards as you bounce off of it. You angle your body perfectly so that you just bling.
19 was my higher roll.
19, all right. You are also shoved backwards.
Shove.
Let me see. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so that's it for its turn. That's all it could do. Finnan, you're up again.
What's the overhead clearance on this thing?
Well, the cube itself is 10 feet high, and the ceiling is pretty close to that.
Okay.
It's about 10.5 feet-ish. It's kind of curved at the top. The bottom of the, wall where it's still vertical is about 10-ish feet, and then it has a shallow curve at the top, because it's underground structural things.
Okay, I was going to do a tricksy thing.
You are a small man. What kind of tricksy thing were you trying to do?
I was going to attempt an acrobatics roll to kind of push myself off of the wall to get above the thing and possibly either atop it or on the other side of it.
I would say... Is that so, Carly? I'm gonna have to say no, you cannot jump 10 feet in the air, even with help
Okay.
from the walls.
Okay.
Is there anything else you would like to try?
Trying to see if I can do anything else tricksy.
Well, I mean, you still have your sneak attack because an ally of yours is within 5 feet of it.
I thought Swashbuckler changes it to where no other creatures are within 5 feet of me.
That's an additional thing. You still have many
Oh, you're
different
right.
ways.
You are completely
Peter!
correct.
Why would you do that? My leg! Peter, stop hitting the microphone with your tail!
He loves his papa.
Don't you stand on that fucking keyboard. I will eat you.
Don't eat your cat.
I will
Weirdo.
do it. Anyway, what are you doing, Finnan?
So yeah, he is going to just whip around with the rapier and attempt to stab at it.
Stab! Go for it.
Stabbing. That is a 16.
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
And I'm going to roll sneak attack as well.
Go for it.
So let's see, that's a d8. So that's a total of 5. So it's a 1 plus 4 for the standard rapier damage.
Alright.
And then total of another 5 for the sneak attack, so a total of 10 damage.
Nice. It is quivering constantly now. It does not look like it's going to hold up its form much longer. It looks very much like a thing of Jello in the microwave. Next up, Gurg. Oran is going to shoot again and shout to Helga. All right, fuck him up, Helga. You got it. Yeah. You also get a D8 inspiration as he fires his crossbow. That is that definitely hits. 16 naturally. That is a +5. That's 8 dabblage as another crossbow bolt schlunks into it. Schlunk. Helga or Katrina, whoever goes first. You're up.
You're both again, because that was so effective.
Go for it.
11 to hit.
Roll damage.
Oh, that's shitty. Wow. I rolled 2 damage. I nat one on both of those d10s.
You had been lining up your shot with your hand and you were about to fire it, but all of the damage that the cube has been taking, actually, the part you were going to hit there wasn't really much there by the time you fired it off, so it only took a little bit out of it. Helga.
What's the matter? You lost the spark?
I hit it 2 times
kicked
with my
him.
axe again.
You're 10 feet away, Katrina.
Alright, then I flip him the bird.
Okay. Roll damage. I mean, roll your attack. You know what I mean.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll both attacks again. 12.
You only need to roll one. I promise.
Oh, okay, well, I rolled a 12 then. And that's a 7 damage.
With a final swing from Helga's axe, the cube is cleaved in twain, and it spills out onto the floor like so much water.
I'm going to roll in acrobatics.
It does not harm you in any way.
Doesn't matter. I'm going to leap onto Helga to keep from getting it on my boots.
All right.
Oh, hello.
That is a 20 non-natural.
All right. Finnan is suddenly standing on your shoulders, Helga.
Oh my, hello.
Sorry, I don't want it on my boots.
There's no room for him there. There's already a crumpet.
Yes, there is now a disgruntled cat going at you.
Listen, just for a moment, and I use the higher point to kind of like leap into the little crossroads to kind of get a better vantage point.
All right, you shift forward easily enough. You're now in this crossroads area.
So do you think we should go the way that it came from, or nah?
I mean, do these things make themselves, or do people make them? Do I know that? Do I know if they have to be summoned or if they're a natural creature?
Roll an Arcana check.
Teen.
14. Oozes are kind of a thing that you hear about in they're referenced in a lot of texts about demons. Actually, there is specifically a very powerful demon that is referenced in some old, darker stories called Golgothol, with a lot of vowels, and it's very hard to spell. But they are described as the ooze that will consume all, and it is claimed that any sentient sludge-like being is their offspring, or budded off of their body.
Okay, so it wouldn't have been created by someone.
Not particularly. Oozes come about are usually found in places where dark energy kind of surrounds any amount of sludge.
Okay. So there's no reason to believe that it would lead us to...
It seemed to move towards movement and sound. It didn't seem to... You don't know. We'll say that.
I don't know.
All right, good talk. And he's just gonna start moving down towards the way the cube came from.
All right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Yay. Whee!
Are you all following?
Follow.
All right.
I also want to go to where he...
I want to go to there.
I like this dynamic lighting bullshit. This is cool.
It is real cool.
Yeah, it's really sweet. I like it. And I like that all the stuff that you've already revealed kind of sticks around. So, as you...
Hello?
Hello?
I didn't realize I was still muted.
I
So,
figured.
as you move forward down the hallway, you take the leftmost path. As you approach the end, you see that the wall here is just nothing but rubble. This may have been a large room once, but now it is effectively another hallway that just is the left side is entirely rubble from stuff, and you can see a little bit of trickles coming out of it. Eventually this entire underground space will be filled with water, but not anytime soon. It's not like a large trickle. It's just little bits of water and mud are seeping through.
I note that the same way that I noted the room with the gas. And I make a mental note not to blow anything up in here.
Probably a
That's-
good plan.
That's a good idea.
So I'm gonna move along the wall, kind of stealthily to try to get to the end of the hall.
All right, roll a stealth check, please.
Gladly. 12.
12. Okay, so you move forward, and again, there's another end of the hallway. It turns right. You can just see where you are. There's a doorway immediately to your right, around the corner. And you kind of peek forward just a little bit to see that the hallway continues, but it opens up on the left to perhaps a larger room. And you can just barely see something gelatinous moving around past it.
I very quickly move back in the other direction. As in, like, all the way back with the rest of them.
Okay.
There's another one over there.
Let's try the other direction first. Maybe another direction first.
Yes, exactly. So I turn and move down towards the other path.
The rogue is just leading the group the whole time. This is so classic. I love it. All right, so you all make your way down to the end of that hallway. Of the opposite side now. you instead take the rightmost path. And it does open out to the left. And as you
go that away.
As you follow, it continues forward and seems to
once
open
again,
up.
I'm going to kind of sidle, along the wall.
As you're moving forward.
No, you
and-
had it right. Although
Oh.
you might still be muted.
As you move forward, your light just plays off of a shifting, shuddering mass that kind of bumps into the wall and then moves a little bit out of your sight.
Back around the corner I go.
Yoink.
Wait, we're coming back. What is there?
I can't tell if it's either the same one that I just saw. Couldn't tell if the room, if we're basically going around into the same room, but there was another cube on that side.
Why don't we get it?
Okay, clearly we have different philosophies when it comes to a fight.
Yes.
Mike, you said that there is a door in that center path of the crossroads?
Yes, there is.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to the door, actually.
You go over to the door,
Actually.
What kind of door is it? What am I looking at?
It's a simple wooden door that does have a metal lock. Do you try the handle?
I'm going to first take out a dagger and actually touch the blade of the dagger to the handle of the door.
Ting.
All right. So then I am going to very carefully use the crossguard of the dagger to try to pull the door.
It does not budge.
And so I kind of look back towards the party and go, I can try to get this open.
Yes.
Good talk.
Yes,
mean-
go for that. Do that thing.
I'd like to avoid fighting one of those things again. I don't like ick.
It's totally fair. I'd rather not risk my very nice clothes, also known as my only clothes.
You're rich.
You don't know how
Yeah.
much of that I actually spend. And he just takes out his thieves' tools and attempts to
Just
pick the
fucking
lock.
spend it on everyone else.
All right, as you insert the thieves' tools into it, and, part of it is, like, trying the handle a couple of times. You just wiggle the handle a little bit, and the door swings inward.
The door, what? You cut off.
Swing.
The door swings inward.
Nope, not gonna make that joke.
It was a push door, not a pull door.
Damn it, Michael.
Finnan very quickly rolls up his thieves' tools, trying not to look embarrassed.
Michael, that was a very tit-like thing for you to do.
You said you specified you pulled on the door, and I was like, all right.
I did specify that. I set myself up for that.
I still hold that was very tittish behavior.
I am a tit, if you haven't noticed. So, Finnan, as you shift your way into the room, you find it supported by a small pillar that seems to be dripping entirely with water, and there's a large puddle that is forming in the room. At the far end, as you move around it, around the pillar, you do see another door. If you entered, like, basically, you entered the room, and now there's another door, at the, not the far end, but the left side of the room, if you entered from the bottom.
Alright. I'm going to, motion for the gang to kind of scoop their way into the room.
Alright. They all follow, carefully.
And I'm going to approach the other door.
And so you do. You find that it is also unlocked.
I nudge it with my foot. I push it. I push it real good.
You enter a room that is also filled with rubble. And on the right side is another door. You surmise that this was probably the other door that you saw when you moved around the corner. Earlier when you took the left path.
Alright. And I piece all that together and just kind of... I don't think we're going to get out of dealing with at least one more, if not two more of those cubes. We need some sort of moving forward plan. Needs thoughts and thinks.
Let me see. We can try and I can shoot like a firebolt in one direction and see if I can get their attention or something. I don't know. I'm spitballing here.
I think fire is the right choice. That clearly did a real good number on it. Do you have anything bigger?
I do.
But one time we were in cave and she exploded it.
Noted.
I'd rather not use too big of magic. I don't want to send this whole thing flooding on us.
Duly noted. So, what we can do is... What if some of us went around the other side? We try to get them on either side of us. Or we get on either side of them. So...
I think that we've got our wires crossed. You sound to be talking ambush, and I am talking lure them in one direction, out of our way.
I mean, that's not a terrible idea either. But which direction do we lead them, and who leads them?
On the map, whereabouts did we see the cubes?
So, as far as you can tell, from the way the this underground area has been designed, you enter from, we'll say, the east, and two paths branch off north and south from that and wrap around these two rooms that you've just been in and come out the other side into a more open area that you have seen one or two other gelatinous cubes in.
What if you just stood where we fought the first one. It made a really loud sound.
Bang, bang.
And
Then
then
got-
loop around.
Cut through these rooms. I'm not sure if they could fit in through the doorways.
Works for me.
That at least distracts. If there's two of them, it distracts one of them. If it's only one of them, it gets us a clear path.
There we go. And with little ceremony, I just go back to that one area, and I yell, "Hey, you jiggly fuck!"
Hey, you jiggly fuck.
All right. All right. I will have you roll a.
Performance check.
Sure. Give me a performance check.
Jiggly fuck. That would be. Uh-oh, you oofed. A 4.
Oof.
So, Katrina, you do yell this. After a couple of minutes, you hear oozing, but you're also in darkness. Did you take a torch with you?
Oh shit.
Did you take the torch from Finnan?
I feel like it's unfair to retroactively say that I did. So no, but I would have like yelled it and then immediately like booked it back to where we were.
Yeah, we'll say you like stick your head out the door and shout, and then once you start to hear oozing, you like step back in. And you are in the opposite room from them, but we'll say for the fun of it, Finnan comes in to, check on you. And
Yeah.
as his light plays across the door is filled with sludge. And it's
Slam
like
the door
trying to
shut.
push its way in.
Slam the door shut and run the other way, and I just motion to Helga and Oran and Gurg and just go, 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 go!
All right. So you all make your way out. You make your way out of the door and into that open space where there is a large pit that is slowly filling with water. That may have been a well, but has been destroyed. And there's a trail of ooze all over the floor, leading down the hallway. As you guys rush around across that, you make a quick left. You don't hear any oozing anywhere near you.
Hooray.
Hooray!
And you make your way, finally, to what appears to be a door that is different from the others, because it is set in an alcove. And appears to be locked.
I think this one you can probably pick.
I'll give it a shot. Just... Good job, Cat.
I'm really good at shouting.
Yeah, let's keep that to a minimum for the time being. So yes, I'm going to attempt to pick the lock.
Okay.
Really,
I will say about... It took you about a minute to get here. It really wasn't that complex of a dungeon, as you saw. You kind of just took a left, took a right, and then you were there.
Yeah.
And so as you pull your tools out, I need... What is everyone else doing as you're going to pick the lock?
I'm gonna keep watch around the door. Watch his back.
yeah.
Around the door that he's picking, or like around the corner? Because you're currently in a hallway.
Yeah, around the corner.
Okay. You both pick a corner? All right.
Corner, big corner.
So both of you make perception checks.
Do I have to perceive things? I don't want to or be
23.
23?
Yep.
Mine's 2.
All right. Helga, you are looking off into darkness.
Hey.
Katrina, you can just see at the edge of the light, around one of the corners that you ran, a large oozing mass slowly making its way. Not with a purpose, it's kind of just idly moving. Like a few feet. Every couple of seconds.
I kind of like motion to Finnan to hurry up.
Finnan, go ahead and roll a dexterity check with your proficiency bonus for your thieves' tools.
All right. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-dum. That is a total of 22.
All right. You easily, insert 2 of your tools, one to hold the simple tumblers in place, and the other to actually turn the lock mechanism, and it easily, and the door turns inward this time.
All right. So I very carefully nudge it forward and motion to both Helga and Kat to very quietly move in the direction of the door.
All right. I need... Let me see. Katrina. I need you to roll a stealth check.
11.
11? All right. You make your way to the door. Who goes in first? Well, actually, I should probably describe. Past the door is a small landing from which a very tight spiral staircase moves further down into the dungeon.
Should we resume
Yes.
how we were motioned before?
Yeah, I think that's smart.
All right. Helga, you're up.
I go.
Helga, you make your way down.
Dun, 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 dun.
And I follow.
All right. And I will
You keep moving.
pick this up in a
Oh, wait.
moment. Allow me one moment. 1 second. It's
We're
okay.
in the void.
It is okay. All will be well.
In the void.
Finnan, you're just like sandwiched between Katrina and Helga. You make your way
Good
down to a another door that is not actually locked, and as you step inside, you find a mess of a room. The spiral staircase wound down a lot, and like at least several flights worth, and you all enter this small room that seems to be a makeshift bed chamber. As I zoom the camera in for you, there's a ramshackle cot. There's papers all over the floor. There's a chest and a small desk with some papers also scattered across it with a quill and ink. But the most notable part of the room is the sound of rushing water that's coming from a manhole-esque, a half-circle manhole, about 10 foot to a side, with a ladder leading down into more darkness.
I'm actually going to look towards the chest. I'm going to move over to it.
Typical rogue.
Yeah.
As you approach the chest, it grows teeth. No.
I was about to scream.
I would have literally driven over there, strangled you myself.
Someday you guys are going to open the wrong door and it's going to be a mimic. And I will die a happy man. The chest opens. Inside, you find a number of very expensive looking items. You find several gemstones, including a diamond that is rather large and probably very expensive. You also find a couple of other, small knickknacks and weird things. There's actually a, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. It's just some expensive shit. It seems like everything that was probably stolen from the coffers of the Silver Church.
Okay,
Ah.
Go ahead.
I offer the bag of holding.
And he just kind of gives Katrina a look with a capital L.
I'm not keeping it. It's to bring back to the church.
I figured, I just wanted to be absolutely certain. And he dumps it all into the bag of holding.
All right. The thing is empty. The only stuff that's really left in the room is that just mess of a bed, and just all of the papers and the desk. And the hole in the ground.
I was gonna investigate the papers, but I don't want to run every single scene.
I'm gonna investigate the hole in the ground.
All right.
I'm gonna look towards the papers then.
Wanna go in the hole.
Helga wants to go in the hole.
I would like to go in the hole, but I will wait for a guy with light to also go in hole.
Yeah, I'm going to attempt to discern what's going on with these papers.
All the papers on the floor have strange scribblings, with some very, very disturbing imagery, very overtly, some very overtly sexual, but in a kind of a gory way. A lot of melting bodies and slimy sketches. A lot of the papers are actually kind of gooey themselves, and you don't really want to touch them.
Finnan is actually going to unclasp his tankard from his belt, set it onto the table, where all the papers are surrounding.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of set his hand on it, kind of like he's resting an elbow on the bar, and he's just kind of leaning and relaxing. He's gonna close his eyes and think to himself, Mal, what do you make of all this? And that's going to be my way of turning on divine sense.
I like that. That's nice. Yeah, so you'll see Finnan kind of just lean comfortably, kind of think to himself for a moment, and any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet of you that is not behind total cover. You do not feel any specific... Oh, actually. You do sense a very dark fiendish presence pervading this room, but certainly emanating like a noxious fume from that hole in the ground. You also do sense a separate fiendish energy coming from an entity somewhere beyond that hole.
And he just, he sits back up after doing that, kind of nods in the general direction of, I will say the east side of the room, actually. Like, towards the bed, almost.
Okay.
And he just kind of says, I got the next round. Kind of to himself. And he looks to Helga and Kat and Oran and Gurg, and just, there's a lot of bad juju down there. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah, as you say this, you rested your elbow, kind of just relaxing a little bit. As you grab your tankard again to put it on your hip, you disturb a lot of the papers and disturbing imagery on that desk, and there is a single paper that kind of flutters out that you all kind of look at as it floats to the ground. It is not of any humanoid people. It is a very dark, angular image with very... It's all in black and white, and it looks like it was scribbled on with like dark crayon, kind of Slender Man drawings. And it is of a very pointed, horned head with a massive body beneath it, staring, and something about it is just sets your whole body on edge. especially you, Helga and Katrina.
Is it a Sneeple?
It is not a Sneeple. It is nothing that you've seen before, and yet something about it is so creepily familiar. And then, you know, the papers are disturbed again, and it's in a pile of creepy sex. However, on the table is revealed a book, a journal, actually.
I'm gonna take a look at the journal.
All right. You pick it up, and I'm just going to, I'm just actually going to, give this to you to see how you, would like to, I would like you all to be able to look at that, as one does.
Okay.
I don't know if that worked, but
It did. I can
it's
see it.
supposedly shared with everyone.
Oh, cool.
So he doesn't read any of it aloud. He's just kind of holding it in a way that he can kind of read it, but also the taller folk can read it.
I
Mhm.
cannot read.
He...
I'm gonna be reading it.
Would anyone like to read it out loud for the... Katrina, you haven't done shit. Would you like to read it out loud for...
Yeah.
Sorry, but Helga can't read.
Bed of Mercer's Heart. I stumbled upon an old ruin while out on a walk yesterday. I had been so lost in my musings that I did not realize I had gotten so far away from the city. I'm sure Grave of Vow will scold me later, but it was worth being late on my return. I think there was a way inside somewhere beyond the reeds. 26 of Mercer's Heart. My dreams have become increasingly erratic lately. Perhaps spending so much time exploring that ruin is not good for me, but the benefits of learning outweigh the cost. I'm just tired. 8th of Lumen's Hope. I think Val is getting suspicious of my regular outings. She couldn't understand. Those are not mindless forms, they call out. We need only listen. I will try to make contact with the stronger one tomorrow. 15th of Lumen's Hope. I have been cast out. Gravers, completely useless fools in their piety. No desire to learn or understand. I've taken up residence in this ruin for now, and will continue my research here. 30th of Lumen's Hope. The artifact must not be found by anyone. I know its power has some secret, but no substance has yielded anything other than water. Wine, offal, urine, even the excretions left behind by the cubes all yield crystal clear water. What am I missing? So far the large one eludes me. It seems to need enticing. 4th of Lindelia's Call. I was able to kill one of the marsh lizards outside and drag it into the large one. It gobbled the entire thing in mere minutes and approached me. I feared it would take me next, but it simply stared, if only appearing so. I tried to speak to it, but to no avail. I will try again tomorrow. 10th of Lindelia's Call. It came to me in my dreams and spoke. There were no words, but I understood its meaning. Consume. It exists to feed, but to what end? Perhaps sharing in its meal will strengthen our bond. 30th of Lindelia's Call. The hunger
And
calls.
Finnan actually holds up his hand. Careful.
Yeah, this last page actually is... The handwriting is totally different. It's scratchy. It's very much like that creepy image that was drawn on that one on the floor. This is the last entry as well.
Maybe
Before the rest
don't
of the
read
book
this
is
one.
sludgy.
This is not good.
You're telling me. So,
Right, so are we going down there?
I mean,
Yes.
I'd rather not be consumed today. Let's try to avoid consumption at all costs.
Okay.
I would tend to agree.
We will go and not get
Uh,
is the plan.
I would like more plan, but clearly
Yes, needs more detail.
I'm working a little outside of my element here.
This is a creature that turns things into water. Is definitely a little bit far from my element as well.
I mean, if we're gonna look at it like that, I guess
My element is ice, so water,
if
ice.
if they make enough
Close
of it,
to
I
my
can
element.
sail on it. Maybe that'd be all right.
I could. Can I freeze it? I might. I don't.
Well, okay, so we'll just
Let it go.
Gurg.
what?
You all turn to see Oran and Gurg staring at that image of the, that one odd image out, and they're both staring at it as if they've seen a fucking ghost.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oran rips it up and, actually, grabs the torch and burns the entire paper.
Jesus, Oran.
And
This-
Finn is just like, fair.
What's going on? Do
They're
you know?
both, they're both red and green, typically. Right now, they could be white as a sheet.
What's going on? Is this...
This young man is dabbling in things that he should not be. I'm worried that whatever we find down there is going to be pretty bad. I'm just glad we're here with you.
Well-
Have you seen that before?
Gurg nods.
Let's discuss this later.
And Finnan takes out his tankard and just kind of. Would it be fair to say that he has a flask of some variety?
He would have a little something on him.
He pours some into the tankard and actually places it at the foot of the bed. And he just says, out loud, like not even murmuring it, just, Mal, I don't know what's down there. And you might, I don't know what you know. We ain't had many conversations, we'll say that. But just, if you can keep it off of us long enough to get the holy symbol for Val, sure would be a great thing. And I'll get the next round. And so he's just doing a little prayer for to Mal.
Okay. Go ahead and, I won't make you roll for it.
Okay.
Anyone who was looking, though, would notice that the tankard is empty when Finnan picks it back up.
And Fanny just kind of goes,
Oh.
just need a little bit of liquid courage, y'all. Thanks for the patience.
So, who's going down the ladder first?
I will go. Do I need to carry torch down, or one of you will come behind?
I'll carry the torch with me.
Okay, time to go.
All right, so you start to make your way down the ladder, and I'll describe what you see before I move you there, because it'll be a lot to move. So, Helga, I'll describe what you see, because you're the first one down there, as Finnan follows you with the torch in hand. As you go down the ladder, it's about a 30-foot ladder, and you find yourselves in a large open space through which it appears to be a T-intersection of what may have been an old aqueduct or something like that, an underground sewer or something beneath this tower that may have led all the way back to the city. However, two of the tunnels that would go off into the darkness are entirely caved in, and the room is filled with stagnant, smelly water. The ladder comes down onto a L-shaped platform in one of the corners of this basically square-shaped room. In the center, there is a cross-shaped dais where there are some stair steps and whatnot kind of angling down. Three of the points angle down towards you, where you could easily leap across the water and get up onto the central dais. However, the fourth one goes upward to an even higher platform, upon which, as you all come down, you see a figure about 40 feet away. Can't make out too many details, but a figure turn around and look at you, lit from behind by a single candle.
Peace.
And so I will show you what you see. Oh, wow. The light doesn't even go that far. Well, the room is actually lit pretty well, so I forgot to give that a little thing. There we go. For those of you listening on a podcast, I just revealed the
Asshole.
token on
Goddamn motherfucker.
the online website Roll20
I
that
regret
represents
making that joke.
the big bad boss of the dungeon. And it's literally just a picture
Is it
of
too late to
Kylo
quit?
Ren. You see this man,
Now.
you see this man who must be,
It's too late for us, but not for you, Troy. Escape.
you see this man who must be Benneth Harpsong turn around, a wild look in his eyes. He is clad in just sodden old robes, and he looks to be just profusely sweating as he suddenly stops chanting and looks around at you. He is holding this ornate, deep gold goblet. However, from some hole in the dais before you, a large black oozing mass seems to lift over and squelch towards you. And that, my friends, is where we're going to end our episode.
Ah!
Oh yeah, we're opening with combat next time!
Hooray.
Boy.
So, do you like Kylo Reneth?
God damn
I,
you.
I'm going to drive over there and punch you right now.
So, that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you all so much for being here. If you are listening to this on iTunes, once again, please be sure to leave us a review because it super duper helps us out. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment about your favorite part, and your predictions for the next episode. We have a Patreon, don't forget, and the lowest tier is $1 a month, and you get access to a lot of behind-the-scenes articles that I'm going to be writing about whatever is happening in the episode, maybe a bit of lore. I will also be posting art that I will be making because I'm an extra little bitch and I love to make fan art of my own players' characters because it be like that sometimes. Once again, don't forget to check out Panzerlion on Twitter, on Patreon, super active in the community. He has a website, pocgamer.com. Go check him out. He's super cool. He created the RPG Sojourner and it's good shit. It's fun time, all that stuff. Thank you all so much for being here. Once again, please be safe, share some love, and tell a story. Good night.